She stepped closer to the door, her eyes brimming with tears. Then, with trembling hands, she unlatched the lock. The door burst open. Tan rushed in and wrapped both Han and little Tom tightly in his arms. Hello, everyone. Today we continue the next chapter in the emotional and challenging journey of the single mother, Dieuhan. It's been over a month since Han left her peaceful countryside home, holding her young son Tom's hand, venturing into a strange city to search for clues about her birth parents. A journey filled with hope, yet weighed down by moments of heartbreak, fatigue, and confusion. All she had were vague leads, like smudged ink on a rain-soaked page, and today, after many sleepless nights of reflection, Dieuhan made a decision. She would return home. Though she hadn't uncovered anything concrete, she knew she couldn't continue this endless search. She gently took Tom's hand, walking slowly down the rain-damp village road, the familiar path leading to the highway, where she hoped to catch the earliest bus back home. But suddenly, the sky darkened. A downpour came crashing down. With no umbrella, no raincoat, both mother and child were soaked within minutes. Frantically, she searched for shelter. Luckily, an unfinished house stood nearby. Tom shivered from the cold. Han held him close. She dared not imagine how long the rain would last. Time kept slipping by. The rain only grew heavier. Darkness fell quickly. The world around them faded into shadow. The last light of day was swallowed by thick, swirling storm clouds. The highway was still far off. She knew she couldn't risk walking further in this relentless, stormy night. But staying here wasn't an option either. After a moment's hesitation, Han sighed deeply. She picked Tom up in her arms and turned back the way they came. There was only one place left to return to tonight, Uyen's house. In the torrential rain, Dieuhan carried Tom in her arms, forcing one heavy step after another. Only one thought filled her mind: get to Uyen's house as fast as possible. When the faint glow of the old house finally appeared through the curtain of rain, a small sense of relief washed over her. She called out softly, her voice trembling. "Uyen? Uyen, are you home?" No answer. No footsteps. Only the steady drumming of rain on the rusty tin roof. Han stepped inside, her heart pounding faster with each breath. The sight that greeted her made her freeze. Furniture was overturned, dishes shattered across the floor. The air was thick with the musty smell of dampness, mixed with something else tense, unnatural. "Uyen?" Han called out louder. "Uyen, are you in here?" Still no reply. Panicked, she ran toward the bedroom where Uyen usually slept. The door was slightly ajar, rattling softly in the breeze, blowing through the open window slats. Just as Han stepped through the doorway, a rough hand suddenly yanked her hair from behind, jerking her backward. "Where is that girl? Where's Uyen?" A hoarse, furious voice. It was Fook, one of the two thugs who had been stalking Uyen. Han screamed in terror, completely disoriented. I don't know. I don't know where she is." She struggled, desperately trying to break free, hoping her screams might reach someone, anyone. But Fook quickly clamped a hand over her mouth, his grip tightening, nearly suffocating her, and then instinct took over. With every ounce of strength she had, Han drove her knee upward. Once, twice, a third time right into his stomach. Fook howled in pain, staggered backward, clutching his gut, and collapsed to the floor. Without wasting a second, Han grabbed Tom, dashed into the living room, slammed the door shut, and locked it tightly from the inside. Bam! 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 The door shook violently with his furious pounding. Outside, Fook roared in rage. "Open the door! You think you can hide from me? I'm not letting you go." Han clutched Tom tightly, sinking to the floor, her whole body trembling. She pressed her son's head to her chest, whispering softly through ragged breaths. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here, Mommy's right here." Outside, the rain kept falling, each drop like the ticking countdown of fate. Fook's pounding grew louder, and just as Han feared, he didn't give up. She heard him moving, circling around the house. He was trying to climb through the back window, but Han was ready. As soon as his arm reached inside, she grabbed a slipper and struck it hard. Smack! He screamed in pain, losing his balance and nearly falling. She didn't hesitate. Han slammed the window shut and locked it tight. Then she backed away, trembling but resolute. She would protect her child, no matter what. The rain continued to pour down in sheets, thunder rumbling like war drums, heralding a coming storm. Out on the main road, a car came to a sudden stop. Hui and Than stepped out, umbrellas in hand, their eyes scanning the surroundings with sharp alertness. They had followed their memories to return to Uyan's old house. Carefully making their way along the slippery path, they finally arrived at the gate of the weathered, abandoned home. Seeing no one, Hai called out loudly, "Uyan! Uyan! Is anyone home?" Suddenly, from the shadows beside the house, Fook emerged, his face pale with fear. He shouted aggressively, "Who's there? Who are you and why are you at my house?" Hai stepped forward, his tone calm and steady. "We're Uyan's friends. We just came to see her." Fook stammered, This isn't Uyan's house. No one named Uyan lives here. Leave now." But just then, a frantic voice cried out from inside the house. "Help me! Is someone out there? Please help me and my child." Fook froze. Realizing he had been exposed, he turned and bolted toward the back of the house. Than shouted, "He's running! Hi, go after him!" But instead of chasing the thug, Than ran to the front door. Han's terrified screams had gripped his heart. He pounded on the door, his voice urgent. "Is anyone inside? Please open the door." Inside, Han clutched Tom tightly, her voice hoarse with fear. She backed away and cried out, "Who are you? Are you with that thug? Stay away." At that moment, Than felt his chest tighten. His voice softened, filled with emotion. "Han, it's you, isn't it? It's me, Than. I'm here. You're safe now. Please, open the door." Hearing that familiar voice, Han froze. Slowly, she stepped toward the door, tears welling in her eyes. Her hand trembled as she reached for the lock and gently turned the latch. The door burst open. Than rushed in without a word, wrapping his arms tightly around Han and little Tom, who were trembling in the corner of the room. The rain hadn't let up its steady drumming on the old tin roof, only made the moment more intense, more suffocating. Han broke down, sobbing uncontrollably in Than's embrace. She couldn't hold it together any longer. What had just happened was beyond terrifying. "Han, are you okay? Are you hurt?" "My God, I've been searching for you everywhere," Than asked frantically, his hands gripping her shoulders as if afraid she might vanish again. Choking back tears, Han whispered, "I'm okay, I was so scared." "But how did you find me? How did you know I was here?" "I looked everywhere," Than replied. "I guessed you might come back here. Even though it started raining, I followed the path. Thank God I did." "That guy, he didn't hurt you, did he?" Han shook her head. "No, I managed to get away. But I don't know where Uyan is. I came back here to take shelter from the rain, and then he showed up and attacked me. I thought I wouldn't make it out. Just then, Hui stepped inside and saw Han still trembling. He sat down beside her and gently said, "Try to calm down. Can you tell us everything that happened?" Han took a deep breath, trying to steady her voice. "Tom and I were staying at Uyen's place. This morning, I planned to go back to the countryside, but it started raining heavily, so I came back. When I entered the house, Uyen was gone. The place was a mess. Everything was ransacked, dishes shattered all over the floor. Before I could figure out what was going on, that man grabbed my hair from behind. He asked me where Uyen was. I fought back. I kneed him in the stomach 3 times and ran into the room with Tom. I locked the door." Hearing this, Hui jumped to his feet, his eyes filled with worry. "This isn't good. We have to find Uyen right now." Tan quickly stopped him. "Wait, we need to call the local police first. What if that guy comes back? Don't rush into this." Hui nodded, pulled his phone from his pocket, and immediately called the local police. Meanwhile, Tan turned back to Han, gently stroking her hair. "It's okay now. I'm here. You and Tom are safe. Let the police handle the rest." Han gave a faint nod, her eyes still filled with fear, but it was clear that having someone she trusted nearby gave her comfort. Then gently picked up Tom, who had fallen asleep from exhaustion, and led the mother and child out to the car. Hai soon returned, and the 3 of them got into the vehicle. On the way back, Tan continued reassuring Han. "It's over now. Don't worry. Let's go home first. Tom needs to rest. We'll let the police take care of the rest." The car slowly pulled away from the narrow alley. Outside, the rain kept falling, relentless and cold. But inside the vehicle, a part of the fear had eased. A danger had just been avoided, and yet one question still lingered, unanswered. Where was Uyen, the kind-hearted girl who had given shelter to Han and her son? Could there still be a miracle? This story is not over yet.
Thành quay lại bên Hân, nhẹ nhàng vuốt tóc cô. "Không sao đâu, có anh ở đây rồi. Em và Tom an toàn rồi, mọi chuyện khác cứ để công an xử lý." Hân gật nhẹ, ánh mắt vẫn chưa hết sợ hãi, nhưng rõ ràng đã yên tâm hơn khi có người thân bên cạnh. Thành ghế Tom lúc này đã thiếp đi trong mệt mỏi, rồi đưa 2 mẹ con ra xe. Huy cũng nhanh chóng quay lại, cả 3 người cùng lên xe ô tô. Trên đường về, Thành liên tục trấn an Hân: "Mọi chuyện ổn rồi, em đừng lo, chúng ta về trước đã. Tom cần nghỉ ngơi, chuyện còn lại giao cho công an." Chiếc xe chậm rãi rời khỏi con phố nhỏ. Ngoài trời mưa vẫn rơi như chưa từng muốn dứt, nhưng bên trong xe ít nhất một phần nỗi sợ đã được xoa dịu. Một hiểm họa vừa được đẩy lùi. Tuy nhiên, vẫn còn đó một câu hỏi chưa lời đáp. Uyên, cô gái tốt bụng, người đã kêu mang 2 mẹ con Hân, giờ đang ở đâu? Liệu có một phép màu nào xảy đến? Câu chuyện này sẽ khép lại hay vẫn còn tiếp tục?